Happy Earth Day to you. Happy birthday, Earth Day. Yay! You're 50 years old. Well, not the Earth. The Earth, scientists say that you've been spinning around on an average of 4.5 billion years ago. But you, Earth Day, you're turning 50. That's a silver anniversary. Hello, folks. My name is Ehren Gross, and I work at Briar Nature Center. And although we can't meet at Briar during this time, I'd like to invite you into my house where we're going to celebrate Earth Day. You know, the history of Earth Day goes back 50 years. That's a silver anniversary. To April 22nd, 1970. Millions of Americans took part in demonstrations, cleanups, and other activities for this first Earth Day. Philadelphia had one, I've been told, and it was called Philadelphia. Maybe you remember those times, or you took part in some of those times. If so, please write us a note or send us an email or share your story with someone today. You know, this brainchild of Earth Day was created by a senator of Wisconsin named Gaylord Nelson, and it was part of the watershed movement and the greater environmental movement, where Americans were realizing that industrialization had been a strong force in polluting the airs and the environment and our health. Walter Cronkite said it best when he said, "A common cause of saving life from the deadly byproduct of that bounty, the fouled skies, the filthy waters, and the littered earth." I like it how Walter describes it as fouled skies and the filthy water and the littered earth. Those three components, the air, the water, and the earth, are all major parts of Earth Day and our Earth Day activities. The same year in 1970 was the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency, or known as the EPA. Important environmental laws and amendments were made that year, such as an amendment to the Clean Air Act, an amendment to the Clean Water Act, and a new law of the Toxic Substance Control Act, as well as many others. Let's take a look at some of the ways you can celebrate, clean up, or be active on Earth Day. The universal recycling symbol was first made in 1970 during the first Earth Day. It was part of a contest won by Gary Anderson, who was a student at the time at the University of Southern California. We all know this symbol as the three arrows folded over itself to form a triangle. Each arrow represented the three steps of the recycling process. Now it's attributed to the three R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. The American Plastic Society first began using numbers inside of the recycling symbols in their containers in 1988 as a way to assist the sorting process with their resin identification code. It uses 7 numbers to identify the types of materials. Let's go over some of these materials. Number 1, polyethylene terephthalate, also known as PETE or PET. You can find those in your berries, strawberries, blueberry containers, or food containers. Number 2, high density polyethylene, HDPE. This is a good plastic for milk containers, juice bottles, and household cleaners and trash bags. Number 3, polyvinyl chloride, also known as PVC. We're familiar with this with household construction, but beware, if this plastic is burnt, it can release a high carcinogenic toxin into the atmosphere. Number 4, a low density polyethylene, LDPE. Those are found in manufacturing squeeze bottles and grocery bags. Number 5, polypropylene, PP as it's known. It's one of the safest plastics, generally used for squeeze bottles, bottle caps, and straws, and some food containers, even your toothbrushes. Number 6, polystyrene. This is the hardest to recycle, so we call it the worst of the bunch. You find those at serving trays, egg cartons, meat packaging, or styrofoam cups. And lastly, we have number 7, everything else. This is a catch-all for everything that could be conceivably be broken down and reformed. I found one of those and something that came in a package at my front door. This bubble wrap has a number 7 written on it. It's very tiny. If you want to find out more about the Township of Abington and how we recycle, please visit their website. When talking about the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, recycling is often talked about. But reducing, often when people think about reducing, they're reducing their energy. Whether it's unplugging electric appliances when not in use, or adjusting your thermostat between seasons. Perhaps it's your water consumption between brushing teeth and shaving. During this pandemic, we are all reducing our carbon footprint by traveling less. And I know we're trying to reduce our use of toilet paper so we don't have to make that extra run to the grocery store, if they have it at the grocery store. Many of us try to reuse our grocery bags. Although not recommended at this time, that could save our use of 500 bags used by one American each year. That's a lot of plastic bags. That's a lot of plastic bags for our children and for our children's children. I wonder what that would look like. Wow, that was interesting. Speaking of plastic bags, my sister has a few words. Emily?
Plastic. It's not a friend of the earth. As much as I try to avoid using plastic or purchasing items that come in plastic, sometimes you just can't avoid it. I mean, my eye doctor gave me my contact lenses in a plastic bag. What a waste. Sometimes you buy bread. That comes in plastic. Sometimes people send you things in the mail in plastic. So what can you do with these plastic bags? I know I've aligned my trash cans with them occasionally, but what else? Lately, I've been using these at the grocery store when I'm purchasing items. Instead of touching the items because I don't know what's on my hands, I'll just grab the item and flip the bag inside out. And then at the checkout, this doesn't have to touch the register. What are some other things that you can do with plastic bags? Give them a second life or even a third life. I know some of you who have dogs know what to do with this. Very useful. Share your ideas with other friends and neighbors.
Speaking about bags, it's hard to disinfect those reusable bags you've been using. So here's an idea on how to make your own out of an old t-shirt. If you take an old t-shirt and you cut off the sleeves and you cut a deeper neckline, and on the bottom of the shirt you cut just a series of 1-inch cuts all the way across, and you tie them together, you will get this. Wasn't that easy? Here's another idea. After I'm done with my coffee bag, I took a piece of ribbon, or you could take fabric at your own house, and stitch it together on the top of your coffee bag, making a hanging planter. I'm sure you have ideas of your own on what you can use coffee bags, t-shirts, or other items in your house. We've talked about the reduce, reuse, and recycle, the 3 R's. But I would like to add a 4th R, called removal. We need to remove our invasive species of weeds, plants, and even pests from our yards, our neighbors, and our township, so they don't take away or compete with our native species. Once this place had a lot of porcelain berry. You can still see some behind me growing up in these big vines here on these trees. They also have a problem with knotweed, which is down by the creek bank there. We don't want bamboo or stilt grass to come in, or a mile a minute to take over this land again. With the partnership of the Shade Tree Commission, we've planted some native species of trees and habitat here to reclaim it for the native species. Often we talked about the spotted lanternfly. I have a video to share with you about that. I'm looking for the spotted lanternfly eggs. I'm on an egg hunt. They're kind of gray splotches. Usually from this height to down to the tree is what I can reach. And the paint scraper is a good tool to use, or a credit card or a gift card. Watch. Here's a few right here. Scrape them. Some of them might be wet, some of them might be dry. But watch them die. Down here. Happy egg hunting. When you celebrate Earth Day either today, tomorrow, or next week, it's often said, make every day Earth Day. Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day to you. Happy birthday, dear